Hey, welcome everyone. It's Tuesday, January 10th. This is our Healy Overview webinar where you get to learn all about this amazing little frequency device. And my name is David Pritchard. I'm joined here by Ray Jatan. So,
Good evening, everybody.
yeah, we are good friends. Even though I'm currently out in Nebraska, he's in Missouri, but we're doing this Zoom so that we can share this information with you. Let me just quickly explain a little bit about what frequencies are, because to some people this is brand new, and I can vouch for that in my own story. We have a friend of ours that's a holistic doctor named Dr. Corrine Allen. And my wife and I have always done our health more holistically. We've tried to avoid going to the doctor, and we do everything we can to not have to be on pharmaceutical drugs. So that's kind of our mindset with our health. So when Dr. Corrine Allen called me and told me about the Healy, I was not familiar with the concept of energy medicine or using frequencies for your health, except that I had heard of a Rife machine. I think I had read an article about it or seen a little video about that concept, but I didn't understand it at all. So she explained it to me. And the main thing she explained was this, that every cell in our body is a little electrical power plant. The cell membrane has a voltage to it. It's electricity, and it vibrates at a specific ideal frequency. So a heart cell and a lung cell and a liver cell and a hair cell, a skin cell, they all may have a different ideal frequency. And it's been proven that when you add energy into the cells at specific frequencies, you get specific responses. Things like ATP production is increased, which is the power of the cell. Protein synthesis is improved. Amino acid transport is improved. And there's studies that have proven this. So this is what happens at the biological level. So what we're doing is we're putting frequency into our body in three different ways. One is through microcurrent at the biological level. One is called scalar waves in a 0-point field. I'll show you that in a minute. And then the third one is in the quantum field with a vibrational type of frequency. So you may have heard of people like listening to YouTube videos that have certain audio frequencies, and that can do the same type of thing, but the Healy is not using any audio frequencies, just so that you understand that. So when Dr. Allen explained this to me, 20 minutes or so of her explaining what it does, we just trust her and love her. So we just said, yeah, we'll buy one of these Healys. It sounds amazing. And it has been amazing. So I'll share a little bit of kind of how that's helped me and my wife and as we go through this presentation. But that's the concept of frequencies. Another way to think of it is when we put energy in at specific frequencies, it causes something that is in that has that same ideal frequency to resonate. So an example of that I've heard before that made a lot of sense to me, because I'm a musician, I have a degree in piano performance. I used to be a piano technician and owned a recording studio. So I understand audio and frequencies. So if you have two violins in a room and you bow the G string on one of them, or any of the open strings on one of the violins, the G string on the other violin starts to resonate and vibrate and create sound, even though you're not touching it. And I see that as a piano technician, I can do that. I can play certain notes in the piano and certain other notes that have a resonant partial frequency that is shared will vibrate, but other strings won't. So it's really interesting how you can see that in the audio world. Same idea in our body. If you have a cell that should be at a specific frequency, you add energy by any of these methods, sound, light, lasers. The people do it a lot of different ways, and you'll see how we do it with Healy, but that will have a positive response. There's also frequency in thoughts, emotions, brain waves. Everything is frequency. For instance, our one thing that I love to share is these two quotes by two quantum physicists from 100 years ago. You're probably familiar with Nikola Tesla. He said, if you want to know the secrets to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So they knew this 100 years ago. And Albert Einstein said that future medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. So this has been progressing, right? The Rife machine was a long time ago. There's been all sorts of different technologies, but they were kind of squashed by the American Medical Association and other people, because they wanted to promote pharmaceutical drugs as the way to cure people, or the way what they don't really cure people. They just mask symptoms typically, but that it's all money, right? So they've squashed it. Now it's becoming more and more mainstream. The Healy itself is made in Germany. Here in the US, this Healy device actually has a FDA clearance for pain. like arthritis pain, muscle soreness due to overexertion, etc. The FDA here doesn't recognize the hundreds of other things that the Healy can do. I honestly don't care that much about what the FDA thinks because I know this is a more holistic device and it works. But over in Europe, they do have medical clearances that go farther. They include fibromyalgia, anxiety, depression. So it is recognized that frequencies and even the Healy frequencies have these positive results in certain areas, but it also works in a lot of areas that's not recognized by traditional medicine. All right, so let me quickly show you a demonstration of how this works. So the Healy itself is very small and compact, and we control it with either a smartphone or a tablet, and it can be iOS or Android, and it doesn't matter, but and it can be a smartphone or a tablet like an iPad or something. So this small device, in this case, I'm doing the first type of frequency, which is called microcurrent, where you have wires plugged into the Healy. The other end of the wires, in this case, I have going to my wrists on these electrodes. They're just a bracelet. And that causes a mild electrical current just from the rechargeable battery inside the Healy to flow through my body between the two wrists. And that's where we're getting frequency at the cellular level, biological, like we were talking about earlier. Another option for doing frequencies, the second one, is we remove the wires, and we have this new thing. It's newer than when I first learned about the Healy. We only did the wires then, but this is called a coil. It's actually a Tesla coil, and you can probably see the coil of wire in there. There's actually two of them. There's one that you can see on the inside and one on the back side. They're parallel. It creates something in quantum physics known as a zero-point field, and it uses scalar waves to send frequencies. So these little prongs here go right where the wires would have gone. And now I have a wireless Healy. And it's a little more subtle. It does penetrate into the body wherever you have it clipped to your shirt or whatever, about 5 centimeters in. But it's a little bit more about balancing the energy in your bioenergetic field. So we all have an EMF field, sometimes it's called a bioenergetic field. These quantum physicists today will call it the information field because they can read the frequency information in that field. And so this is balancing that energy or putting frequency into that field, which ends up having a result internally. Healy would tell you to run 3 or maybe 4 programs a day at the most using the wires, and putting a few hours of rest in between. You don't want to overdo that, and because when you put all this energy into your body at specific frequencies, your cells do something with that for a while. With the coil, though, when you use this device, it's much more subtle, and you can run these back to back to back all day long. So some people get a little lazy and they only use the coil because it's very convenient, right, to not have these wires. But really, this is the most intense application with the wires. So I recommend trying to do some, in my case, I try to do some with the wires, some with the coil every day. Even the inventor of the Healy said, oh, well, I would at least try to do the wires a few times a week, try to do that at least a few times. But, everyone does really love that coil because it's so convenient. The third type of frequencies is in the quantum field and can even be done remotely, believe it or not. You can have a client in your Healy app, and they could even be somewhere else. I could actually send frequencies to Ray and scan his bioenergetic field. And if that sounds crazy, I understand. I resisted that for months when I first had my Healy. And even when we were doing these type of webinars, if someone would bring up this concept of doing a remote, it just sounded so far-fetched to me. I just pushed it away, right? It's like, please don't talk about that. But I started trying it, and it is amazing. It actually works. People can sense it, they can feel it, and they get results from it, even with that third form of frequency. And I'll show you how we do that as well, too, in just a second. So here we go. I'm strapped back into these electrodes. Oh, by the way, there is another way you can do these. Instead of these bracelets, there's also the option of doing these type of adhesive electrodes that you would, like, let's say you have shoulder pain, you want to run a pain program, you put on either side of the shoulder, and these would just plug in, snap into those adhesive electrodes, and you can do microcurrent that way as well. So I'm going to share my phone screen, since that is how we control our Healy. And you'll see my phone here pop up in just a second. All right, and then here are a lot of the different Healy apps. These top 3 are the ones that we really use. You don't need to worry yourself about these. But I'm going to first connect to the main Healy app. This is how I would do microcurrent. I got to turn on the Healy so it can find it by Bluetooth. It's this top one here, Healy 1. And it's going to connect by Bluetooth in the app. And if you can see me as well, you'll see there's a blue Bluetooth light blinking on the Healy now to show that it's connected. And we have all these different awesome program groups from Gold Cycle, pain, learning, fitness, job and sleep, mental balance, beauty and skin programs, bioenergetic harmony 1 and 2, meridians, if you're familiar with acupuncture and those types of programs. Chakras are those 7 energy centers in the body that are tied to the endocrine system, like the thyroid gland, the pineal gland, and so on. Bioenergetic defense is awesome. It's for people that have issues with Wi-Fi and you know, the energy coming from electronic devices and so on. Bioenergetic support, bioenergetic vitalization is like human growth hormone and stem cells, and it's all the programs we need to stay young. But Deep Cycle H, digital nutrition are all these programs that are like having the nutrients and vitamins and minerals, having the energy signature of those that you can do into your body digitally or into your cells through microcurrent. Power of 3, Soul Cycle, Natural Cycle. There's all these different program groups. And then you're going to hear from Ray in a little bit about how we're an offshoot of a bigger company called Time Waver. It's a very expensive device, like could be as much as 40,000, but you can work with one of those practitioners and go to this expert area, and you can, you know, if I go into expert programs, you can see that I have one that I got from one of these Time Waver therapists. They can make you a very specific custom program for you. Let's go back really quick to these program groups and just look at a couple of them. Like Gold Cycle is these ones created by one of these Time Waver therapists out of Portugal. So Pure is about detoxing the body, Release is about pain in the body. So these are a little more generalized, but very popular. This one, like beauty and skin, you've got programs for things like inner beauty, hair, skin, aging, nails, another skin. Well, these are the ones that are specifically for skin and scars and so on. We talked about this bioenergetic vitalization that's down here. That's the ones with stem cells and so on. So regeneration programs, bone tissue stability. Here's that pineal gland stimulation, youth epigenetics. So very, very cool stuff, right? Let's look. I'm just going to show you how I would run a program. I'll go to these digital nutrition mixtures. These are the ones I said it's like having a supplement for your brain or your hair or your skin and so on, that you would run a program and put that frequency into your body that way. So let's, for instance, do gastrointestinal system. Maybe you're having a little upset stomach or something. You can see that this says it'll be about a 33-minute program. It shows use the electrodes on the wrist. You can use either the adhesive ones or these bracelet ones that come with it as well. You would hit start. I could also choose to use the coil if I wanted, but I want to show you with the electrodes. It transfers all the frequencies. You see right now, it's at 98.1 hertz, and after 10 seconds, it'll choose another one. And it's actually scanning, the Healy itself has a quantum sensor. It's scanning my field. It's now testing 514 hertz. It's initially going through and checking which frequencies are out of balance from this group. That could be dozens or hundreds of frequencies. It's testing my bioenergetic field. Now notice it says a frequency is generated, but no measurable current is flowing. So I need to increase this intensity. My body is not allowing the current to flow through here. Maybe there's some toxicity, or I'm dehydrated, or whatever. So I want to see this wave moving. So I'm going to bump this up. I typically go up to about 45 or 50% because that's where I start to feel, I can actually feel a little sense of energy in my hands now because of those electrodes. Now you can see the frequencies are flowing, 952 hertz at this point. And again, that'll shift after a few more seconds here. Let's see what's next. 952, and then 136, and so on. So it's going to count down 31 minutes. So that's how that works. So look what happens when I unplug one of these. That again, it notices that there's no current now because my body is part of the current. I'll plug it back in, and now we're generating current because my body is part of this circuit, and it's flowing between the two wrists through the body, and it hits all the meridians. It's flowing through the cells and the water throughout my whole body. It's holistic in that way. All right, so that is basically how you'd run a program, either with the wires, or you could do the same with the coil. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop this. Let's go out of here. Okay. And leave this app. And I want to show you really quick, there is a couple other things we can do that are really cool. Heal Advisor has several different modules you might have. For instance, like that digital nutrition here. This is that set of 72 programs on 6 pages. I was running one from there for gastrointestinal, but it's also an app module. I can search within the digital nutrition programs and type in an issue maybe I'm dealing with, and then get a list of the ones that are good for that. But it also even create a shopping list of foods and the types of foods you would eat that would have the same or be a helpful benefit for whatever that topic is that you put in here. What I'm going to do though is show you how we can go out really quick and do this Healy Advisor search, because this comes with any edition of the Healy, whether it's a lower priced one or a more expensive one. We just click on here. I'm going to choose all IMF, so that'll include the ones for digital nutrition, bioenergetic vitalization, and the regular Healy IMF programs. IMF stands for individualized microcurrent frequencies, because it's individualized. I told you it was kind of scanning my field to see which ones I need. So if you and I and Ray all ran the same program at the same time, it would actually select different frequencies for each of us, because it's specific to you. And that's what makes us so much more advanced than most frequency technologies out there, like a Rife machine, where it just chooses a frequency, it just sends that to your field whether you need it or not. This is scanning your field to make it the best possible application you could have. So now I can type in whatever I want. Let's say I want to, let's say I have high blood pressure. I just type it in. And we're going to take the top one, will be the one that matches the most. And you'll see that it's got 15 different programs that it shows that could all be helpful or beneficial if you have high blood pressure. You can see it's antioxidants, epigenetics, being, reduction in digital nutrition, lifestyle, heart harmony, rest, stress, recreation, free flow. You can see the names of these and they kind of make sense. They might have something to do with high blood pressure for a lot of them. So that's really cool. We can do that. Another way that we see what we need, if you're not maybe going for a specific thing like that, we use this amazing Blue Dot app, or the Healy Advisor Analyze app. And we go next. And this is where we can put in clients and also do the third form of frequency work. But notice there's resonance analysis, coaching analysis, aura analysis. I'll just quickly touch on what these two are, and then we'll play with this one. Aura is those 7 chakras. It reads and tells you the energy distribution. It shows you how that's affecting you physically, mentally, emotionally. If you're familiar at all with what aura is, or those 7 chakras, that'll make sense to you, but it's really pretty cool. Coaching analysis is amazing in that it can do frequency work in things like your mental attitudes, self-worth, even areas like business and finance, and or your personal finances, personal relationships. And you can put in goals and it will actually pull out frequency information from your field that could even be things passed down from a parent, right? There's there's genetics passed down, but there's also sort of an energy genetics or energy DNA that can be passed down as well. And this can help remove blocks, and really it's pretty cool. It's kind of like being being able to be your own life coach in a sense. But resonance analysis is what I use mostly. I like to go through this and do a bunch of scans once a week and then focus on those programs for a week. Some people do it once a day, but we just choose a client. I'll show you here really quick that we can add clients that are people or animals or plants or buildings and so on. So it's not just a person. You can work with your pets. Okay. I'm going to choose myself as the client in this case, David Pritchard. And it's scanning for the device, so I make sure it's turned on and blinking so that it'll link up by Bluetooth here. Give it a second to find it. There it is. I just tap on it and it'll connect. And then it's going to let me see a focus, which says, with what do I have the greatest resonance now, right here. So what it's doing, we're going to go to a database. There's all these choices. I'll choose a database. It's going to scan my bioenergetic field against those sets of frequencies in that database to see which ones are most important for me, which ones are most out of balance or needing some energy or needing to be increased in energy, right? So I'm going to go to the database and show you there's just so many choices of what we can do here. It's overwhelming, honestly, how much you can do. And so this will take a little bit of training and understanding, but I'm going to show you the basics of what we like to do. Is all these programs that start with the word Healy. These are like what you saw in the other app, the beauty programs, chakra, bioenergetic harmony, so on. When I could just choose one and scan. Well, let's say I wanted to just scan in this fitness programs. I could do a quick scan. I touch the screen where it shows that fingerprint. It's not actually reading my fingerprint. It's just a point of focus to say, Healy, I'm ready for you to scan me. I'm in that state of mind. So it does a scan, and it shows of the, can't remember, 8 or 9 fitness programs, is going to bring up the top 5. So regeneration is number 1 for me, stamina number 2, circulation, muscle harmony, and deep relaxation. So these are important programs for me. This tells me I could write these down or whatever, but I could go over to the other app, put on the electrodes like I have here, and go to that fitness regeneration program. 67% resonance is a pretty high number, so I know that that's pretty important for me. And I could just run that program like I was showing you I did earlier. So that's one way. I also can go actions, vibrate, and it's going to now take frequencies from all 5 of these and send them into my field. And normally you do it for like 1 minute and 20 seconds or 2 minutes and 49 seconds. You can do longer and shorter. I'm just going to go like 37 seconds to give you an example. Hit start. Because what I want you to see here is the blue wavy line, like you saw earlier when it was scanning me, means it's still scanning my field. And then the reddish wavy line is the information or the frequencies it's sending into my field. So it's scanning, sending, scanning, sending, always adjusting for me. So it's choosing the frequencies from these 5 programs that I need most, and just kind of, so this is a little more generalized approach to frequencies, and it's doing it in the quantum field. I don't even have to have the Healy on me like I would on the other ones. You want it in your bioenergetic field to read. This is doing it through what's called quantum entanglement. You might have heard of that term. And that just means there's a connection. And by having you put a person in as a client, you can connect to that person through the quantum field, even if they're not right near you. They can be in another state if you needed to. Okay, so that is one thing. So how I would normally do this is I go resonance analysis, choose me, go to the database, and I choose this one called All Healy, because this gives us a good overview of what's most important. So this is scanning to see which of all those frequency groups I need the most, like learning or skin or beauty or whatever. So it's showing for me right now, bioenergetic defense is number 1. Skin is number 2. The gold cycle programs are number 3. Mental balance is number 4, and beauty is number 5. So I could actually vibrate a little bit of all of this to me, but I know bioenergetic defense is important. So I would go out here and do it again and take my number 1 program group as Healy Bioenergetic Defense. There's 8 programs in there, and I'm going to do an analysis. So this will be the top 5 programs in the top group. So mental, general protection, electrosensitivity, sleeping, and planets are my top 5. I typically stick with the ones that are 50% or higher, or sometimes in the 40s. But I would know that this is a very important program for me right now, kind of a mental defense with energy. And I could go over to the other program and run that with the wires of the coil. But I could also go actions, vibrate, and do like I showed you a little bit ago. I'll just do 8 seconds, a really quick version, right? Where I'm now sending a little bit of all of these. I would normally do this longer, but I'm just, to save time, I just want to show you how that works. Lastly, I just want to show you that in these databases, there's a lot of other stuff. So if you're a holistic practitioner of some sort, or you understand this at a deeper level than I did when I first learned, you'll see things that might make sense to you, like Bach flower remedies, Australian bush flowers, homeopathics. Down at the bottom here, we have things like I Ching, which is traditional Chinese medicine, Schussler salts. So there's a lot of cool things that we can do and do scans in those fields and get a lot of information. Not only a lot of these are emotional, like if I did a Bach flowers scan, it would actually tell me you're kind of showing that you need this Bach flower remedy. You can read up on what that is if you haven't heard of it, but it's something from way back in the 40s or 50s, a kind of a holistic medicine approach. And typically if you need this Bach flower, it means emotionally, here's kind of your present state. Here's the desired state we want to shift towards. So you get a lot of cool information, and you can only run vibrationally. Okay, they don't have the word Healy in front of it like these ones down here. You can't do a microcurrent version in the other app, but we can still do those vibrational frequencies. So it gives you just a lot of opportunity to do so much work with frequencies and energy medicine. All right, so I think that is typically what I would show. What I'd like to do now is, well, first, I never did kind of point out for myself how this worked for me personally. So you might have seen that there were these program groups called bioenergetic harmony 1 and 2. There were 2 pages of 12 programs. And we didn't look at those pages, but I can tell you when I first got my Healy, my scans were coming up that I needed to run this program called Nerves and Bioenergetic Harmony 1. That was one that came up a lot for me. And one called Sciatica Local that was coming up a lot for me. It was very interesting that I had this numbness in my finger that was left over from a pinched nerve I had up in my shoulder blade area. And I had gone to the chiropractor and got that all worked out, but I had this ongoing numbness kind of in this pointer finger and a little bit in my thumb. And it initially was in my elbow too, but that had gone away with the chiropractor. But I had this ongoing numbness. And reading online, it said it could be permanent. So didn't really love hearing that. But these scans, the Healy could see that. It could sense that. I was saying, you need to run this nerves program. So I would. And guess what? Now I have back to full normal feel in my fingers. It's awesome. I also had been having 10 years of issues with sciatica pain on my left side. Just walking would cause me to have to sit down, do all these stretches to try to relieve that pain and that tightness in that area. Well, the Healy could sense that. Even if I wasn't having a flare-up, sometimes that would come up as my number one program, because the Healy could see there was an imbalance in my information field, and it knew that was there. So I would run it. With that one, I would use these adhesive electrodes and put it on either side of that sciatic nerve area and run that program. Guess what? Now for 2.5 years, I've only had a few very minor flare-ups compared to the twice a week I was having that were major for 10 years. So awesome results. My wife and I have noticed even things just kind of emotionally and how we interact with each other. We're just more balanced emotionally, perhaps. We are, I maybe share a little more about this later, but we live in an RV now. We sold our house in March, and we live and travel full time all around the United States in an RV. Is kind of a lifestyle we wanted to try because all our kids had graduated from college and got married and moved away. And so it gives us some flexibility. So you can imagine the two of us living in an RV full time, we need to get along. And so it's been nice that the Healy actually seems to help with even that type of emotional response that we're getting, just even how we interact with each other. So Ray, could you come on, and I'd love for you to share your story, how you learned about the Healy, how it helped you and your family, but also if you could share a little of the background of the company and its relationship with Time Waver, maybe Marcus Schmika, the inventor, and just give us a good overview that only you can share the way you do. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. We found out about this about 2.5, 3 months after it came into the U.S. market. My son was dealing with some pain, and he had a major growth spurt at age 15, and he grew like 6 inches in 8 months. I mean, he's so fast that he's actually got stretch marks on his back. And he was trying to play soccer for high school, and the poor kid could hardly walk, let alone run. So we were heading out for vacation, and we went to pick up my best friends, and they had just purchased a Healy. And they saw how Titus was walking. They said, "Hey, we just picked up this device. It comes from Germany," which to me meant that there's some quality. And then they said, it's cleared here in the U.S. market for chronic and acute pain, arthritis, and muscle soreness. And they said the other countries, it's also cleared for fibromyalgia, depression, and anxiety. They said, why don't we hook him up and see what it can do? So they hooked him up. They did a scan in the pain stimulation category. And then all they did was they vibrated with the resonance frequencies what he needed. And lo and behold, 2 hours later, the kid's walking normal. And my wife says, oh my goodness, we got to have one of those. So we had one ordered before we ever got back to Missouri. And of course, I'm a mess myself. I've had diabetes since I was 16 years old. And there's a lot of things that come along with that. Anybody that has diabetes knows what I'm talking about. And I got to tell you that this has been the single biggest thing that I've done in 36 years of having this awful disease to reduce the amount of insulin I take. So that's been huge for me. Insulin's very expensive, and I wouldn't wish diabetes on anybody, but we've also seen a number of things happen with my daughters and my wife with hormones and with neuropathy on me and pain issues. And we just started reluctantly sharing it with other people. But the my wife came home one day and she had an issue going on. And of course, I fix problems, right? So I said, why don't you run a scan and do a program? She's like, well, how in the world do you expect me to do that? You're the darn Healy hog. So I said, okay, I guess I'm going to be buying you another device. So I reached out to somebody that knew more than my buddy to find out, how do I actually go buy another device? And he said, well, Ray, if you're going to do that, you need to sign your wife up as a member. So that way you can take advantage of the fast start promotions that are available, where you can earn free product and even income. It's like, well, I don't care about the income, but yeah, I want the free product. After sharing it with a handful of people and finding out that every single one of them wanted me to do a free personal frequency scan for them, just so that they could be in the know of how this cool little thing works, so that they could share the idea with somebody else. When we did the scan and we came up with a sheet that we could actually map everything out with, they saw on that sheet, how did it know these things that only I would know about? And every one of them said, I got to have one of these. And, a nice thing you'll hear from David a little bit later about the fact that it does have a 14-day money back guarantee and a 2-year warranty on this cool thing as well. But, along the way, I got to know more about the company. So the first thing I knew is that it worked, and it works for everybody. Some people have to use it more than once to see results, but a lot of times we're seeing results within the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 times. Very seldom does it take much longer than that to receive some benefit from this, or at least actually see the benefit. So, in researching the company, I found out that it's much bigger than just what you see right here. And this is a 2x2 little device that you can wear around your neck or on your collar or stick it in your pocket. This is actually made by a company called Time Waver. They're the parent company. The same person that owns the Healy owns Time Waver. And with Time Waver, they build those bigger $20,000 to $40,000 devices, depending on how much you've got it decked out. And then it takes another $15,000 to fly to Germany and get the training. So it was very costly to own one of those. Now, I had an experience with a device that was very similar to that about 6 years ago, and the practitioner that I paid a setting fee told me, before I ever gave her any indication about stuff going on my body, she said, yep, you're a type 1 diabetic, you have a low thyroid, you have E. coli and bacteria in your system, and you deal with depression and anxiety. And all of that was true. And at that point, 6 years ago, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I got to have one of those devices. But there was no way I could afford $40,000. So fast forward 3 years, I find out about the Healy device. Well, having the practitioners that own those larger $20,000 to $40,000 devices realized that it was very costly not only to own those, but to also get people trained that can operate those. And then the clients coming into the office had to spend more time more frequently there to help elevate those frequencies up to where their body could remember it. And the practitioners went to the owner of the company and said, we need something that we can use as an extension of our care so that people can take a device home and manage that or do their own sessions so that we can manage their care with a device they can take home. So they created the Healy, and it's actually programmed by one of those $40,000 time waiver devices. It's considered a consumer device that is class 2A medical related. So it allows us to be able to use it ourselves. They launched this to the practitioners in 2017. Well, after about 2 years, they realized that they hadn't recouped their investment yet. And the owner of the company and his main partner, the main investor, Christian Halper, they were looking for other ways to take this to market and recoup that investment. So they spun this into more of the social selling arena or network marketing industry, where we could have access to this, not only to run it for ourselves and our family, but to share it with others. And so in 2019, they launched this to the other world markets, starting with Europe and Germany and so forth, and they did $7 million worth of business. It was 2020 before they came into the US market, and it was only half a year. So it was May of 2020 that they launched here, and they sold out in the first day. So needless to say, there was some manufacturing distribution issues, customer service issues there in the beginning because of such of a demand. And I'll tell you what, though, we've grown past that. We have customer service and a home office in Orlando, great customer service and support, and just an amazing device. We continue to grow, we continue to share with others, and I just love what this has done for my family and what this is doing for others. I wasn't looking for a business opportunity when I found this, but I told you that I needed to sell 3 to get 1 free because of the incentives in the beginning. Well, I got my 3 sold, I got my free device, but then a few weeks later, I get a text message in my inbox that says you have several $1,000s in there from selling these devices. Well, I wasn't going to turn that down, obviously. And I love this thing because of what it does for my family. So we started sharing it with several other people. And I'm actually sitting in the room tonight at my business club because I was invited to come in and share the Healy business opportunity with a couple of young men. One of my good friends, Dave Griggs, sitting here next to me, and our new friend, Walt, and young man interested in the business opportunity here. And so we've been talking about ways that you can generate income with this and move this device forward and change lives. Bottom line, changing lives.
That's great, Ray. Thank you so much. Let's get into what these cost. People are probably curious. They're like, I'm sold. What does it cost? That's what I hear all the time when I'm starting to share this information. So I'm going to share my computer screen now, and we'll go to this presentation that I put together to kind of explain what the Healy can do. There is another device we'll talk about in a minute called a Mag Healy that's really cool. So Healy is going to continue to develop more technologies, more products that we can market to all these raving Healy fans that are coming around the world now. But right now we're going to talk about how you use your phone to control the Healy device. There are 5 editions of the Healy, or versions of the Healy, I guess, at 5 different price points, but the hardware is the same for every edition. You just have access to different program groups and app modules. Depending if you have a lower price edition, you're going to have access to fewer numbers of programs and app modules. Higher price will have more. You can actually start at a lower edition and upgrade to a higher one later, and you don't have to get a new Healy because the hardware is the same no matter what edition. You're just opening up more program groups and app modules. Hopefully that makes sense. When you purchase the Healy, you're going to get all the stuff you need to be able to use it, of course, and then, like Ray said, a 14-day money-back guarantee. Now, they do that from the day you receive the Healy in the mail, so you have a full 2 weeks to try it, use it. If you don't love it, you can send it back, get all your money back. And that is, of course, pretty rare because the Healy does work. Like Ray said, it works for everyone. Some people notice it right away. Some people might take a few days before they're starting to get the positive results they want, but it works. Okay. So these are just examples of all different program groups and app modules. There's as many as 306 different microcurrent programs, but then there's all those other databases like I showed you with homeopathics and Chinese medicine and so on that's in that resonance app that's even beyond these are the microcurrent ones where you could run them with the wires. So if you have a lower priced edition, you might only have a few of these. If you have a higher price edition, you're gonna have a lot more. So, and if there's something that's not in your edition that you want to add on, whatever edition you buy, you would have those programs for life, and there's no monthly fees, there's no yearly fees. You buy it once, you own it. But if there's something that's not in your edition, you can add it, and it might be a one-time fee for certain things. Some of them are a monthly subscription, but you can add those. So for instance, this Heal Advisor Animal module is actually not in any of the editions. So if you have pets, if you have the Resonance edition, you can still scan within this module and you can still do those vibrational frequencies I talked about. But if you want to be able to do actual microcurrent frequencies with your animal, or even with like the coil with your animal, and get those 12 microcurrent programs, that would be a separate small monthly fee, for instance. Okay, so that gives you an overview of that. So here's the lowest price edition of the Healy. Now, this is going to be in US dollars. And I know we have people that watch this from Canada, and of course, the Canadian dollar will be a little higher amount than this, but it'll be adjusted for your currency. We're in Europe, we're in Australia, we're in parts of Asia. So wherever you're seeing this from, just realize that for my presentation, we're seeing this in US dollars. So 506 US dollars for the Healy Gold. That's our lowest price edition. It only has 11 microcurrent programs in the gold cycle, bioenergetic support, and then the two main FDA cleared pain programs. And it does have that Heal Advisor search module where you could type in what you're looking for, but it's only going to return the frequency programs in the set you own. So out of those 11, the most expensive Healy edition, going all the way up to number 5, is called Healy Professional. Normally, this would be the MSRP, or the normal manufacturer suggested retail price of the Healy Professional. We have a promotion going on in January right now where 3 of the editions are 40% off. So that includes this one. It's quite a bit less expensive than this, you'll see in a minute. But this Professional has 216 different microcurrent programs in all of these different program groups and in these different app modules. These app modules, you know, we played with the, where is it here? The resonance module here. That's where I did the scans and showed you how that works. I talked about, we played a little bit with that search module. We talked about the success coach module and the ARA module. And then the digital nutrition and bioenergetic vitalization. Those have a lot of microcurrent programs in them as well, but they're also app modules. Like I told you how you could, in digital nutrition, create a grocery list. So it just has a little more functionality. But that's awesome, right? The Professional is really where everyone would love to start if they can. I recommend starting at least at the Resonance edition if you can, because that has that resonance scanning module like I was showing you today. So as you see, if without the discounts that we have right now, if you go from gold to holistic, you've now jumped from, instead of just 11 programs, you have 63 programs, because we've added these 5 program groups in Bioenergetic Harmony 1 and 2, which is where that nerves and sciatica, those were those programs that I was having such good results with, mental balance, and then 2 pages worth of meridians. That's 20 more programs there. When you go up to the Resonance edition, now we've got 98 microcurrent programs, and we've added a second module. Besides the search module, we now have that Resonance module. And then we have programs in chakras, fitness. These are the rest of the pain programs, sleep, power of 3. When we go to Resonance Plus, we've added the deep cycle programs, learning and skin, and now that ARA analysis module and that success coach module that I told you is like having a life coach. And then if we go all the way to Professional, We have bioenergetic defense, job and beauty. We're up to 229 microcurrent programs. And we have that digital nutrition and bioenergetic vitalization, this is the one I told you about that keeps us young with stem cells and epigenetics and so on. All right, so that is an overview of the different editions and how as you move up in editions, you're just adding more program groups that you would own forever. But remember, if let's say you start off with the resonance, but you really want these beauty programs, you can add the beauty ones for a subscription, but you would own all of these forever. And down the road, you could choose to even upgrade to a higher edition later and then add these additional programs where you'd have them for life without having to do a subscription. So hope that makes sense. Certainly ask if you have questions. Here is what we're doing as far as in January. We're doing 40% off on the Resonance, Resonance Plus, and Professional editions. So that's those top 3 editions, and it started January 2nd, goes through the end of this month. So here we go. Now you can see the Resonance, Resonance Plus, and Professional at 40% off. The Resonance is actually lower priced than the Holistic. So don't buy a Holistic. If this is your budget, you want to go ahead and get the Resonance because it's 40% off, and you'll actually get a whole lot more bang for your buck at the Resonance level. And then Resonance Plus, instead of being $2,500, it's going to be $1,500. And if you remember, the Professional is normally a little over $4,000. It would be just $2,424. And you're getting the benefit of all these awesome programs. Now, realize all these programs were developed on this big $40,000 time waiver device that you would normally go pay $100 or $150 to do one program. So don't think that this is expensive. This is incredibly affordable. If you could do multiple programs. You have 229 choices here just in microcurrent alone, and you can do multiple programs every day, where one program, if you went to a practitioner, would cost you $100 or more, and you can do them all day long. And not only just for you, your family, your kids, your spouse, your pets, you can do this with a lot. So this is incredibly affordable. When we show this to practitioners, they immediately think it's going to be 10 grand or more, for a device like this. So don't think that this is expensive. And if you really are like, oh, gosh, I got to have this Professional, but I don't know if I can come up with $2,400. We do actually have financing through a third-party company called Klarna. Right in our checkout screen, you can choose Klarna. You can instantly see if you're qualified to pay over time. And it'll tell you your interest rate, everything. If you have great credit, sometimes you'll see 0% interest if you just have stellar credit. So lots of options on how you can pay and so on and get involved with our company. The Healy coil is a separate device. That's that Tesla coil, and it was invented later than the Healy. So it is a separate cost of about $225. But this is highly recommended. Just about everyone that buys a Healy from me always gets the coil because it is so cool and so convenient to be able to run lots more programs and not have the wires on. If you're in a situation where you can't have these wires, you can run the coil by just sticking the thing in your pocket and nobody even knows you got it and you're running programs. So we have another promotion here that if you purchase the Resonance Plus edition or the Professional, so one of those top 2 editions, you get a bunch of free stuff worth $548. It's showing here in euros because the company's out of Germany, and but converted to US dollars, it's 548 of what we sell these for. So Soul Cycle is a new program group. You saw that on my Healy because I got it. I purchased it when it came out December 1st. And it's a new set of 12 programs that's not included in any edition. And it would normally cost a little over $300 US to buy that group. And you just buy it once and you'd own it forever. But with this promotion, if you get the Resonance Plus or higher, you get that for free. You get the Healy coil for free, which is normally about $225, and you get this really cool travel case that keeps all your Healy stuff together. And then lastly, you can become a Healy World member, which means you can do like Ray and I, and you can refer others and earn commissions. You can build a network and do the network marketing and earn overrides on beyond the commissions on your team. And you earn commissions, like I said, but you can earn extra commissions and even a free Healy device as a new member with our Fast Start promotion. And we believe this is the next great network marketing company. There are several network marketing companies that became billion-dollar a year or more companies. We're already progressing towards that with the 200 or 300 million a year. I don't know what we're at right now, but I believe, will be a multi-billion-dollar company, like one of the few that get to multi-billion. Because what do we have? We have the coolest little device that everyone we show it to is like, and so intrigued and interested. And then we're developing more and more products on top of that. They're just going to keep expanding on. They've got, I believe, they hired 13 quantum physicists that are working to produce new and exciting products in this new field, this new arena of frequency medicine. So you can build a team of Healy World members all over the world. We're in over 50 countries. I've got people in Australia and Belgium and Europe, Germany, and all sorts of places that have purchased Healys and also could have the ability to sell Healys if they want, and that can benefit me because I'm developing that team. So there's 11 different ways to earn with our compensation plan. And this really excited me when I learned about the Healy. Initially, I wasn't sure if I wanted to push a business, but I was looking for something. And this has allowed my wife and I to do exactly what I was trying to do. I had quit my job in January of 2020 and trying to develop some internet type income, stuff I could do from a laptop. When Healy came along, I said, oh, this is the best one I could do. So I do this online. I do Zoom meetings. I share stuff, information. And this has allowed my wife and I to do exactly what we were setting out to do, which was sell our house, move into an RV full time. It's a very nice RV. This is just the office in our RV where I have my own desk and TV and a couch behind me and so on. It's just a little room inside the RV. But we can travel around the country, see our kids and grandkids, and just work this business at the same time. So if that type of freedom interests you, or just having an extra income on the side, or you're looking for something that could be a full-time opportunity for you, we want to talk to you and we want to help you with that. This is what you need to choose to do. You could get a Healy at these are the prices in January, and then we have something called the Mag Healy that's separate. You can see it's at almost $3,000. But let's talk about what that is really quick. So Ray, let me hit stop share. And this really quick, everyone, this is what the Mag Healy looks like. And it's creating a magnetic field rather than an electrical field with the frequencies. But Ray, I'm going to share my phone screen so I show some of the program groups and stuff. But why don't you tell them a little bit about what the Mag Healy is? And it's only 2 or 3 months old, right, Ray? And it's kind of a brand new product.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with this. There's 62 different programs in there to choose from. And like some of the classic programs that are in there, I've totally enjoyed, like in the classic one, the vitality and the tiredness and the joints. Oh my gosh. And sleeping. I've tried almost all of them. Pressure and circulation and mood, balanced body. There's atmosphere programs where you can set the Healy in the middle of the room and vibrate too. I use that study a lot when I'm working. I just need to stay focused, or if I'm in the car. There's a lot of these 5G towers that we have to go by, and the frequencies that are generated within the car. So protection from all of that, stress and coherence. So imagine having an office area that is high stress, and you've got a lot of people that are working in there and personalities conflicting. You can use that program at the top center with coherence, where as the head to heart connection, it really helps, soften the environment in that room for communication and so forth. The water activation, you can literally set the Healy up against a bottle of water over top of a jug of water and vibrate the frequencies that you want in there, whether it's fitness water or circulation or even fasting. Energy is on the next page. I use that one a lot, and the mental clarity and before and after stress, sleeping and plants. My goodness, when I left the house earlier to come up here to the business club, Riley was vibrating frequencies to one of the plants that she's trying to help recover that belongs to grandma, to my mom. And then the next category, These next two pages are really the reason why they created the Mag Healy, is because of a partnership with Dr. Carolyn McMakin, and she's been doing the frequency specific microcurrent for the last 25 years as the main researcher, and has all of her training certified to share with practitioners. But this is a two-channel way to communicate these frequencies to our body, and she's highly sought after by the professional sports industry. She was able to determine what muscle group, or maybe a program for inflammation, and then she found out all the different muscle groups, and she was able to send frequency directly to those muscle groups. And so we can enjoy the same type of frequency specific microcurrent with the Mag Healy being magnetic vibrations. So that's the fourth way that we can use frequencies to address our health issues with the products that we offer. And there's more and more opportunities that are in development right now with Healy that we're looking forward to in the future.
Yeah, so that's great. So like those ones that you saw McMakin and Classic, it would actually have you put the Mag Healy on it'll tell you put it on your upper thorax area or on your abdomen, or your leg, or so for different things. But yeah, those atmosphere ones you just put in the room, or the water ones are just 10-minute programs. You choose that you want that mental clarity water or whatever. Just set it on. I set it on top of my water bottle, run that 10-minute program, and then I drink that water. I'm getting extra frequency benefit by drinking water that's infused with frequency. It's really cool. So part of that is just to show you that Healy is coming out with new and cool products, right? That's going to continue to add to what we can do even on the business side. Let me go back and share this again, though. I want to show you that most people have started out with a Healy because the Mag Healy is new. So I recommend getting as high of a edition that you can afford. And remember, right now, the resonance is less than the holistic. And I usually say, whatever you can do, try to start at resonance or higher, because you want that resonance module. It's the coolest part of the Healy. But if you can get the Resonance Plus or Professional, remember it has that $548 of other special gifts, including the coil. So if you buy a Resonance, I'm going to suggest you buy the coil, which is $225 in addition. But if you buy Resonance Plus or Professional, you're going to get a free coil plus all the additional programs that come there, and that free Soul Cycle group and that travel case. So some people start just with a Healy. Others, they want to be a product of the product. And if you're going to share Healy with people and build a business with Healy, you may want to go ahead and invest in a Healy and the Mag Healy to start with, or you can always add the Mag Healy later on. There's even sometimes opportunities where you can earn either a discount on a Mag Healy or even a free Mag Healy. So once in a while, there are opportunities like that. But whatever you do, even if you were to get a Professional and a Mag Healy and spend $5,500, that's a really low investment on a business, right, Ray? If you were to start an HVAC business like you have had for years, did you have to invest a lot more than $5,500 to start that business?
Oh my goodness, yes, for sure. Yeah, gosh, I heard recently that there are 60,000 people a month looking for a new opportunity to bridge the gap in between all of the expenses that we've incurred over the last couple of years with goods and services up 30 to 50%. What are you going to do? Healy's a great way to help offset that. And it could end up for you, just like it has for me, becoming my full-time business now. I know I've been able to retire from the heating air industry because of the Healy.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out here, we're not going to go into lots of detail on here, but this is the idea of how you can earn commissions on the Healys that you purchase. I have these at the promotional pricing and what you would earn. And the commission is a range because depending on how much volume you've generated in the calendar month can make you earn, like for a Professional, for instance, it could be anywhere between 288 and up to 576 on each of those sales. So the more devices you sell, the higher commission you can earn for each device, which is kind of cool. And if you're in your fast start period, like if you started now, you'd have until the end of February where you'd earn this extra cash on these devices in addition to the normal commission. Also during that fast start position, in this case, you'd actually have till the end of March where you could earn some other bonuses that I'm not showing here, but this is how you can earn a free device. So for instance, notice that a professional is 1,200 points and a Resonance Plus is 750 points. Well, if by the end of March you have over 1,000 points but less than 1,500, you get a free gold edition. If you have more than 1,500, you get a holistic. If it's more than 2,000, a Resonance. More than 3,000, a Resonance Plus. You know, it doesn't take that many of these devices to add up to 3,000 points between now and the end of March. And you get a whole Resonance Plus edition, which even at the discounted price is still $1,500 and something. And you're getting that for free. And you have another device you can use in your family or to use in your business or to give away or sell or whatever you want to do with that. So in addition to all these kind of commissions, there's other bonuses for building your network, mentoring and coaching bonuses, dual bonuses, rank advancement, leader pools, check matching bonuses, super, they're just listed here. So, there's a lot of ways to build a business. And that's why it's allowed me, this is for me, easily a 6-figure per year business, but network marketing is unlimited. I believe because we are still at the beginning of something great and it's going to grow. Healy has a stated goal of having 100 million families in the world that own a Healy so that it'll impact the world and the health of the world positively. I think we're at, what did they say the other day, 300 and something thousand so far? We're going to 100 million. We got a long ways to go, guys. How much of that do you want? I believe this could become a 6-figure per month opportunity if you want to build it and work it. There's nothing like the potential of network marketing if you have the right product and the right company. I think that's what we have here. All right, so just to show you, they do other really cool things right now. If you are involved with us, whether you're brand new or you've been around a while like Ray and I, every 2 personally referred members or customers that buy a Resonance Edition or higher, so Resonance, Resonance Plus, or Professional, or they buy a Mag Healy, in a calendar month, you get 150 euros in cash. That's a US $180. So just refer to, you're going to get all these commissions we talked about here, plus your fast start commissions if you're new, and another 150 euros or $180 for every 2. And that can be repeated. If you do 4 in the month, you're going to get this doubled, 6 tripled. Also, for every 3 sales of Resonance or higher, you get a free Resonance Plus edition. So you can earn this free one you earned during your fast start, but everyone, even people who've been around a while like me and Ray, can earn for every 3 sales in the calendar month. If it's Resonance or higher, you get a free Resonance Plus. Now, we like having multiple Healys in our house. My wife has her own. I have my own. We don't fight over it, but I have a couple, and I'll sometimes do that other app where I do the vibrational frequencies. I'll set it for hours on some certain scan result I did with my iPad running one Healy, and then I have my other Healy where I'm running microcurrent, and then I got my Mag Healy going at the same time. So we do multiple things with frequencies too by having multiple devices. And I've earned so many of these that I even can sell them outright. If I want to give someone a deal, I can sell them one of my unopened Healys that I've earned. So this is really cool. As you reach a career title of a director above, which is a little higher in the thing, but this could happen even in your first month. It's possible. But for the next, these are all by chance for the whole quarter. So if you hit director or above, they're going to give you an extra 2,500 euros. That's $3,000 US, just for reaching that rank. There's normally a 3,000 euro rank at the one called executive director. And you would actually get now 5,500 euros when you hit that rank if you do it here in either January, February, or March. Okay, so this is huge amounts of income for you to have an incentive to work fast and work with us, and we help. Okay, lastly, I just want to show you what we are. We have developed with me and Ray and many other leaders in our group. We call our team the Frequency Workshop, and we are one of the fastest growing teams in all of Healy worldwide. Diverse team. We have a lot of knowledgeable people from many different backgrounds and specialties. We have people that are energy practitioners, and we have people like me that are piano technicians, and and people like Ray that did HVAC for years and years. Every background, but many that are chiropractors, massage therapists, Reiki masters, energy workers. We have tons. And so we have a private Facebook group, private email list, and Telegram feed, a members only website that we're working on right now that'll have some specialized training, access to special tools through a boards app. We do recorded trainings and these type of presentations that you can share with people. We do live Zoom trainings on product use and business building. We even do in-person events sometimes in different parts of the country. One-on-one support. You've got your sponsor, you've got upline leaders like me and Ray and others that you can call, and we want people to succeed. We want the Frequency Workshop to be the most amazing team that everyone wishes they could be part of, right? And all you have to do, it's free. All you have to do is you purchase your Healy from whoever referred you is probably already in our team. So it's not a cost. It's not a thing you have to subscribe to. You just got to be in our team, and we want to help you, okay? Because we're developing our businesses, and we do that by helping you develop your business. So let's just check. I want to check one thing. I'm just getting out of here back to the Zoom where I can see. And I just wanted to see if, okay, yeah, I had invited someone to come on and share a little bit, but I don't think she's here. So with that, I think we're about done. Is there anything you can think of that I left out, Ray, that we need to add on?
Man, I think we've had a jam-packed evening tonight, full of information and great stuff. And so I would definitely like the folks that are on the call right now tonight, whether you are currently a member or not, to invite your friends back next week on Tuesday evening so that they can see some of the same great information. Whether you want to do this as a business or not, I know for sure in your heart of hearts, you want to make a difference in people's lives, whether it's just with their health or with their finances. And I'm thankful that we can affect both of those. Those are two of the most important things in life, health and finances. So life-changing stuff in both directions.
Yes, absolutely. And by the way, we did record this presentation. I will have it uploaded to YouTube, but it is you might not be able to find it. So just ask the person that invited you here. They will have access through our Frequency Workshop email and Facebook group and so on, that they will have that link soon and can share it with you. And then you can share it with people, because maybe, I see several people here that are brand new, and maybe someone, you're just like, oh, I'd love to get their opinion about this before I make a decision, perhaps. Feel free to share this and say, hey, this is a business or this is a product I'm looking into, but I'd really like to get your opinion of this, and just let some people check this out. I tell you, most people that take a look at this seriously are interested. They're usually, it's rare that someone says, oh, that just sounds crazy, I'm not interested, I don't want any of that. They're usually really intrigued, and they just want to learn more. So share this information. We'll have that up on YouTube within the next hour or two, and you can start sharing that. Thank you everyone for coming, and hope to see you live next week, and hope that you'll join our team and really help promote Healy around the world. Bye-bye.
Everybody.